Hey guys, welcome back to another LEGO City update. This week I'm going to be concentrating on this little area here because I feel like this is the only little bit of table I've got left. So I'm going to kind of come up with something that I can put here to make it look a little bit more complete this side of the city. Okay, so for this week's episode I thought I'd come back to the shopping area again, and I wanted to add more stuff this way over here. Now, this table actually comes right to the end, like here, so I can't add any more, and I don't have any half base plates at the moment. I have got lots of tiles coming in the order, but I wanted to kind of work on this bit here and potentially this bit here. So if I actually bring this back, you'll see that this bit here is what connects to where the bookshop is, so I can start adding buildings here. So what I thought was I'd actually do a little roundabout at this point so that it can come back on itself. So to do that, I actually do have some spare base plates. So I wanted to add a round turn base plate here, and then I only have these ones at the moment. I actually have run out of base plates as well. I need to get some of those on order, but I thought I don't really like how this is because this bit here is obviously going to be something, and I don't really want a four-way here. I just think it's a little bit weird having two zebra crossings together. So what I thought was actually would be to remove this one for now and actually put this one there instead and have this one here like so. So when that all connects up, that would actually then create a kind of a roundabout here where they can come back on themselves, and then they can go down this road, which would be down to where the bookshop is, or they can go back on themselves and go back down that way. Okay, so I'm going to move this Lego man out of the way for a little bit because his parcels have all got dropped whilst I've been moving things around. And I'll just put him over here delivering. He can be delivering to somewhere else for now. So I kind of thought this was taking up way too much space here. So I thought I want to have this on the road anyway. So this will be going somewhere. Maybe it's here and the delivery guy's going the other way. But I wanted to have something a bit more over here that would maybe fit on some sort of roundabout. And so one of the sets that I do have is the car centre that I got from the town square set. So I thought I might kind of modify this a little bit, turn it around. And I also have some other things, which is the used car and the little 50% off car stand as well, which could be used too. So I think they're kind of cool stuff. I also have this mini one, which was with the mini speed racers. So this has some kind of interesting bits on it, so I might be able to use some parts over here or some of these kind of machinery things. So I'm going to see what I do with this, and then I'll kind of come up with some ideas of how this is going to fit maybe around here. Okay, so I've been kind of thinking about how to do this, and this actually does clip apart here by two stud connectors. So I think I might change these over and kind of have this a little bit different, because I was thinking maybe this could go here in the corner, and then you could have this actual garage kind of set up over here so that the actual service station goes into here and then out. So you would have, if a car was coming to be go for its service or something, it would go through these gates, through these doors here, and then it would go into up there to have its car repaired on, and then would drive out. So I think kind of looks quite cool. And then this gives me some space over here where I could think of maybe then adding the used car section. So that could go there, and that could maybe go here-ish. It's kind of my thoughts. So then you've got a nice kind of car area next to the Lego store. So further back it would kind of look a little bit like that. Okay, so in order to get this to work, I've actually taken the auto sale sign off for now, but I want these doors to actually be able to work and open. And they can kind of do it like that as long as I leave this a little bit apart. I'm thinking of actually adding this slightly one higher so that that can easily go underneath the service centre sign. I think that would look pretty cool. And then the issue now is that this is actually two base studs too small, because if you actually look over here, I want the cars to be able to get up the ramp from the front door, so they'll need to actually widen this so that the cars can go in and out, because I do want that to be kind of a realistic play feature. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at modifying this. I'm going to take all these kind of side things off here, move the doors out, maybe to add this as more of a brick wall area, so because obviously this is just open at the moment, and yeah, kind of get to work with that. So whilst messing around with the layout and things, I actually found out that this would be a better way of doing it, which would be to have the garage here with potentially the little for sale car here, and then the the caravan maybe in this corner. I'm not too sure about that bit yet, but this bit here I think would work a lot better. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually this building, rotating it so that the workshop is actually behind. So that would make sense because people would go into the showroom and they'd see what's happening in the glass. But it also creates this kind of barrier here between these two areas, so that when you've got this at the front here, it makes it look more like a car garage. And also, if you can see right there, that perfectly fits so that the mechanism still works really well. And it looks kind of clean and it perfectly lines up with the back of the buildings. So if I show you, it perfectly actually lines up, which is great. Which will give me plenty of room. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So now what I'm going to do is actually take this white base plate. I think I might take this one out as well and move it over to my build area so I can start mapping this out and getting this all kind of remocked, as it were. Okay, so I've pulled it out of the Lego City. So now what I'm going to do first is I'm going to rotate this around and take this off this base plate here and then tile around this area, getting this bit looking pretty cool. And then I'll move on to expanding this. So let's do this bit first. So quickly taking this bit apart, this bit here has to stay there because of these connection bricks that then that connect to these Technic pieces here. So that obviously needs to stay there. And also it was longer than it was short. So this piece here that was there is actually too long. So what I'm going to have to do is I want to try and push it back one, and then I'm going to have to use some 1x pieces to try and make this fit in that orientation. So here is the finished service station that I've done so far. So as you can see, it's still on the base plate at the moment, but I've managed to move the door. So I'm going to put another glass door there. I've got one in the set, but I'm just left it for now. But the door is now at the front and the service center is now facing, so you can see that from the road when we put the road back here. This bit here lines perfectly up at the back so that it still works. So I'm going to have to, this will be a little bit more fiddling to get the base plates, because now I want to remove this base plate. So this will be a nice tile base plate at the front and tiled around here, but it will still have the stubs inside so that I can have people moving around. I've also converted the roof so that you can now pop it off quite easily, so you can have a look inside when there's someone in there serving. I had to add a lot of extra pieces because there were bits missing. They had no sides on this, so I've actually got a white side from a previous one. I've also got these studs here, which I'm going to add a sign on or something over here so that it looks a little bit less bare than when you're looking at it from over here. You might see something quite funky here, so I'll just put that there for now. I think would be quite nice next to it. Maybe it's a Lego sign or something, or a toy sign, which could be pretty cool. So I think it's looking pretty good like that. So next I need to work on this, especially seeing as I actually removed some of these pieces in order to add to this because there weren't that enough pieces here. So I'm gonna now try and work on this. I want to get this functionality still working here, yet having enough room for the cars. So I thought it was okay removing that base plate for now, that piece. So I think this needs to go somewhere like here, maybe one more forward, and then the door should still be able to slide through like that, and it just touches. So I think that looks pretty cool, the fact that it still works and it opens fully. So that would mean that if the cars are having work done on them, that would still look quite normal like that, which is pretty cool, I think, in my opinion. So I now need to work on getting this sorted, but I think first I will do the base plate for this one. So this is all in, and then we'll make a start on the city garage section. So that took a lot longer than I thought, but I've now put all this onto one smaller plate. So that all fits in nicely and looks very, very consistent, so you wouldn't even really be able to tell. I might actually even put some tiling here, and because there is tiling from the original set here, which is quite nice. So I might actually put some more tiling there just to finish it off. I think that looks really cool and it still works. So let's get on to putting the actual auto center there. Okay, so I've tiled in this section now. The service center is pretty much complete. I've also changed the door handle, you noticed, to one that's not a stud. And I put in the other door on the other side. So, see that there? Pretty cool. I put this bit here because I'm thinking that this is going to be going to around there. So it might look quite nice as a divider, or maybe even like that. So it kind of can be on where the actual door goes around, just to give it that kind of nice cleanness. I thought that would look pretty cool. I've also put this on an anti-stud here so that it can be moved slightly, but it just gives it that nice in the middle kind of look, which I really, really like. So I think that looks pretty sweet. So I'm really happy with that. I think that looks really smart. And I wasn't too sure about how it looked next to the Lego store, but actually I think it looks kind of cool, just having it a little bit different, and it'll probably get moved at some point in my city, as my city is going to be getting a massive expansion coming soon. I can't wait to start doing the videos where I'm moving this into the bigger room. But at the moment, I think this is looking pretty sweet. I'm quite happy with this. This all still works, which is awesome. So now I need to get on to making this 2 studs wider so that this will actually fit and look nice, and then I'll try and maybe add some cars and stuff into here, or maybe this might be a workshop area where it kind of all comes together, and then or a car showroom. I'm not too sure yet. Problem is, I've had some issues with the Speed Champions. I think they're a bit too big, but I'll show you that once I've got this kind of fit with the new studs added. Okay, so I started to take it apart, and I've added one more line of grey base plates at the back, but I realised I only need to add 1 instead of 2 because there's a 1 grid here which I don't really like, because obviously when this tiles up and then if I tile that again, it'll have a little bit of a bump, whereas I want cars to be able to go in and out of this. So I kind of wanted it to be smooth and kind of at one height. So what I'm going to do is actually move these forward so they're there, and then that gives me the angle so that when the doors are on, like so, it would slide over this instead. So I'm going to do that, move all this forward 1, and then have a look at how it looks. Okay, and that's done. So if I add these back here and here, that then allows this is the right one, to slide there. So obviously to keep the door from going off, it had this on before, but obviously this is now going to be 1 lower. So what I'm going to need to do is just find 2 of the dark grey plates, which I think I've got over here. Yeah, there's 1 right here. So I can put that in there, clamp that on so then it's the right height, and that'll still create that door once this is all clamped together. So I think what I need to do is actually put this bit on here, like that, to create the roof, and then that should hook in, and there we go. That's how the doors work. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try and sort out the bottom floor and see if I can get this all to kind of work with these 2 extra studs. Okay, so the bottom is done. I've got these nicely fitted in. This one, see how it comes out a little bit, so I'm going to have to do something here to kind of help that to not do that. But what I've done on this side is actually, you see I've actually added another row. So this is now 2, because that actually now perfectly goes along there. So when I actually open this, nicely comes in and it looks really cool still. So I've also added enough on the back. So I've made this one 2 studs. So if I can show that, I'll spin it around. You can see that this is 2 studs wide with a window here to kind of finish it off. I've actually put this plate over here just to give it, makes it that easier. It doesn't fall out as much, but I think kind of caps it off a little bit. This also allows it to then be modular, so this can now fit on and be taken off. But at the moment, obviously, this isn't the right thickness, so I'll have to do that a bit later. And then over here, you can see that it's only 1, and that's because I've been using this car that came with the set to test it. So if he was coming in for a service, he could come in here, drive in, and he could go up here and out to get his car serviced. So that's really cool. I really like that. So what I might do is actually have some bits of equipment and stuff over here from that mini setup I was on about before. Can go over there, so make it more like a little garagey area. Okay, so I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to now modify this. I'm running out of bricks really badly, but I want to make this so that it's the same thickness as this. But at the moment it is working and it is fitting on. But obviously it's a bit front heavy because of all the work that I've done. So, but it does work, it does fit on, and it looks pretty cool. So I'll keep going and getting this so that this is finished as well. Okay, and after a bit of trial and error, I got to this position here. So this is the second part of it. Now, I do have these doors here. There's a reason for that. This bit I just had to fill in with grey at the moment, dark grey, so I might have to change that up at some point. But I don't think it looks terrible, actually. I tried to carry this around because these actually were in the original set, so I kind of was trying to carry that around with the line. But now I have some predicaments to make. So this now goes on, and it's all the modular style, so you can take it on and off, which is pretty cool. I've also added this bit here so that the door doesn't kind of go flying off, which is kind of the same as mirroring this side. And I can extend that at some point when I need to. but this now should open. Oh. There we go. Bit catchy on the tiles, I have to sort that out. But now I had a predicament of, because these are a little bit bigger and wider, I could actually fit something like the Ferrari in. So I'll show you what the Ferrari would look like in there. So that's kind of, the Ferrari is very, very tight in there, and it's a bit like, how the hell would you have got the Ferrari in there? And if you compare it to the likes of one of these smaller vehicles, which I was on about, would be going for its repair, which would go kind of in here and then in the repair center, that would be like that in comparison in terms of size. So quite a bit different in size. So it's kind of like, oh, I wanted a Speed Champions thing in here, and I do really like Speed Champions. I think they're really cool. But I think the Ferrari, even though this is the last year's ones where they're a bit smaller, I think it's a bit too big. And then, as I was saying earlier in the stream, I did actually have this mini thing because I got the minis. And weirdly, if I take the wheels off the top of the mini, this actually works. So let me take the driver out, because obviously we don't want a driver in the set if we're going to do this. Put the roof back on, but just bar the wheels, and then put that in here. It actually looks really, really cool, I think. So that is the Mini at the top. And I think that looks smart because I love Mini. Mini is one of my favorite companies of all time. I've owned quite a few of them in my time, and it's my favorite Speed Champions set as well. So I might have to get another one if I was going to display these, because I think this is really cool in here and I want to use it for now. So I think I'm going to do that, and I wanted to put like the trophy that comes in the set as well at the front to kind of show that this is like this isn't a car for sale, it's just kind of a heritage thing, and they might be really into minis at this showroom, which they do sometimes do. So I'm going to have that as like a podium to kind of put it there. The Mini can still be in there, and then where the two doors are at the sides, I left that open because I really liked how they did that with these tires, which was in the actual set, so you can put them in very carefully, not to get them to fall off because they're really, really delicate, like so. So they do kind of pop out a little bit, which is why I think you can hinge them in slightly more. I'm going to have to probably play around with this. Maybe that has to go into the corner. There we go, and then get that there. There we go. I don't want them popping out too much. At the moment they may be popping out a little bit too much, but I think that looks pretty cool. So you got the Mini, maybe have it a little bit further back where it's resting. Yep. And then you can have a car at the bottom if you wanted to. There's like the showroom car, and then you've got the Mini at the top. And then this is kind of all the garage working area that they could do, or if like they were selling a car, sometimes they have the car on sale at the bottom and then the customer can drive off. So I think that's looking really, really smart now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back in the actual city, and then I'm going to start tiling all of this bit, and then putting in the for sale, the 50% off car and the caravan. Okay, so here it is in my city. I've tiled a lot more around here, which is pretty cool. And I also decided to add these traffic cones here because I thought, in case of emergency, they might actually be able to move cars out of here, but you obviously don't want customers going over here. So this is just where like the door can open for the actual salesperson to go out and look at cars, but for anyone else they can't. Obviously these would also be movable as well, so that wouldn't be a solid hard stop for the door there. But I also forgot to put on the signature flags for this, which I think are pretty cool. The Mini's all set up, which I think looks really, really awesome. And now I've tiled all this bit, I'm going to now tile this bit in, or as much of it as I can, because obviously I'm really low on tiles. I might actually move that tile so that it clips the roads together a bit better as well. Maybe that one goes there. And then I will start adding in the used car guy and the sales van, which I think the sales car is going to kind of go in this corner at an angle, and I think I'm going to do that just by using some of these tiles here potentially, just to get it kind of in place, and that should be pretty easy to do, I'm hoping. And then just having this just parked up next to it like that. So we'll kind of see how much tiling I can get done, and then we'll kind of have a look at it in a second. Okay, and there it is. I've got the hot offers vehicle added here. The used caravan is just here on the side at the moment. I have run out of tiles. I've got a massive order coming for tiles, which will be one of my brick hauls coming up when they finally arrive. But now I thought, do you know what? Now I'm going to start adding minifigures and some kind of set ideas. So, starting off, I thought we would have a look in the service center because there's no minifigures in here at the moment. Okay, so popping off the roof of this, the little center, I thought I'd add 2 minifigures in here. One who's getting his car looked at, which if you know who this character is, you might have a hint of what car is being repaired. But he's going to be going in here, just kind of on the side. And then I thought, usually you have a secretary or someone in these kind of nice car shops, because this is like a mini one. So this was actually a lady that came with the car center set, so I think she looked quite nice. So I was going to put her behind the counter, kind of looking at the guy's diagnostics of his vehicle. Like so. And this has got a really nice printed keyboard. I really like the look of the printed keyboard. I think it looks really cool. So that's those 2 in there. So if you just step back, maybe this guy needs to be at an angle. Maybe he's just walked in and he's talking here with the door open. It's very, very tight in here, so it might be a little bit of a tight squeeze if I get him that way. Maybe he's like that, talking, dropping off his keys to the center. So let's pop the lid back on the service center here. So as you can see, there currently isn't a car in there, but if you did know who that guy came from, what set he came from, it's actually from the Hot Rod set. And I thought it's a really cool car. It's red and blue, so it kind of matches the Mini and the color of everything else that's going on here. So I thought that could be parked in here, ready to get its diagnostics done. And then I thought, why not use the girl that came in the same set? She's the mechanic that's kind of heading into work to go and actually take a look at this set, because the secretary just told her that this car's just come in for a service. So I thought she could be pretty cool there. Kind of getting ready to go and have a look at it. Maybe close these doors up a little bit just to give it a little bit of variety. I think that would look pretty cool. And then I've left 2 pieces here. And that's because I really like the used car salesman. And this is actually the guy who's on the sign there. I think he's absolutely hilarious. I love his facial expression. He came from the tuning shop. So I wanted to put him here, kind of doing a deal. And then get the this lady here. Maybe I'll put her sunglasses on because I think that looks a bit better. So I put this lady here paying with cash to get this Mini, this little kind of tiny car. So maybe this car shop actually specializes in small vehicles, seeing as it's got a Mini at the top as well. There we go. So she's exchanging kind of money with this guy actually. Maybe she's more like that. I might make these 2 actually slightly further apart. A bit too close to each other. There we go. Like so. So there we go. So she's looking at buying that car. And I might move these guys more to over here once I get this tiled around. That'll be once I get these tiles in. But I think this is looking like a pretty cool setup now. So this whole street now is really coming along. It's got the car garage here. And then the Lego set. The store. The 3-in-1 pet shop. Which is now a gallery, the donut shop area, the fish and chip shop. I think this is looking really, really cool. And here's the ice cream van. And I forgot to mention and put it in last week's set, but I actually also have the pizza truck. So this should also be coming here, because this is where they're all parking up for people to buy for lunchtime. So I thought he can go there as well. Lego vehicle's probably just going to go on the road now, out of the way, with the pizza delivery guy. So I think this is looking like a really cool area now, and it's getting really busy, and I'm loving adding more and more minifigures. So I hope you guys enjoyed me adding the minifigures as well. But let me know what your thoughts are on this bit over here. I think it's looking pretty cool. Okay, so I hope you guys really enjoyed the city update. I think this is looking a lot more complete now, and this kind of finishes off this area quite nicely. We've got a dark blue kind of going into more of a tan, going back to a light blue, brickwork again, and then to the yellows and the tans and greens over there. So I think it's really, really starting to look kind of cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed the update. Please let me know in the comments if there's any kind of cool shops or areas you'd like to see in my city. And I'm kind of slowly getting around to finishing where I am with this city, but there's going to be a big update soon where I'm going to be moving it to a completely different room. So stay tuned for that. But as always, catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed the vid, then if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. And as always, keep bricking it.